Welcome, welcome, beautiful soul humans, to this starseed activation, which is all about the full moon in Leo that's upcoming, which I'm calling a self-love upgrade. But really, it's also an upgrade of our current consciousness to our highest self. It's an upgrade of our inner masculine and inner feminine, wherever they're harboring toxic traits from our ancestors, from our past, from our own programming and wounding, and allowing us to step into the energies of the sacred masculine and feminine, because now is all about sacred union. We're coming into that day where everyone kind of anticipates Cupid's going to come and get you to fall madly in love with some stranger, tall, dark and handsome, whatever the story is. Anyway, this is the time of year that's all about love, and it's the love we have for ourselves, which is really going to be what sets the frequency for the kind of relationships we have with others. And there's a lot around safety. There's a lot around clearing connections. Like, this is relationships, right? In ourself, relationship to things that drain our energy, relationship to those where we're in some kind of energy vampire exchange. By that, I mean we're hooking in and taking energy from them. They're hooking into us, taking energy from us. And we are really looking at the shadows of the inner narcissist, whether covert or overt, and the inner martyr. Now, you might not feel that you have an inner martyr or an inner narcissist, but I promise you, what we're seeing in the collective says that there's a lot of this wounding. Survival programming is all about that. It's either too much self-sacrifice or not enough taking responsibility. These are the elements that are playing up, which are very important for us to uproot before we actually come fully into the Thrive paradigm. Because every one of us, it's not something that's out there. We're activating the Thrive paradigm in ourselves in the same way that we're activating peace on earth. And what this really means is that we are in an opportunity to see where we're out of alignment with what we say we want, where we're still in duality when we say we want oneness. And the global stage is a perfect example to show you where you go into fear, where you go into contraction, where you start looking outward for the answers when really it's inside. If there's like goodies and baddies outside and you don't know who the goodies are and who the baddies are, then there's an invitation to go within and collapse down all of the conflict wherever it is, bringing light to the shadow, light to the shadow. So remember, anytime you see someone that gets up your nose, that riles you, that frustrates you, you don't like their behavior, there's an element of that in you to bring love to. And it doesn't mean that you've acted in this way yourself, but maybe you've been around it as a child, maybe you've witnessed it through your bloodline ancestry, and it's something you were born, and therefore you divorce yourself from, you separate yourself from, and as a result of that, it has power over you because you haven't allowed yourself to embrace that on this journey back to oneness, from separation to oneness, which we're all on as souls. We've, done everything, if you like, to come back into the oneness. You've had to see everything from left and right, good and bad, both sides of the story, the persecutor, the victim, the rescuer. We've played all these games with all these roles to be able to understand more what it means to be in multidimensional unified consciousness. Okay, so if you're new to me, I am RozyGlow Hannes. I'm a channel of divine grace. I'm the founder of the Star Peace movement and the author of the book Star Peace 101: How to Create Peace in One Generation, which is down there on the floor right now. I'll get it for you in a sec. And I also, people ask me, what is it I actually do? And I'm like, well, I activate star seeds. I work with those of you who are on a soul mission to bring peace to this planet through your own resonating with peace, and particularly with regard to sacred union. So I work with couples that have a high impact soul mission. I work with individuals, with influencers, with creatives, musicians, artists, anyone who's creating in this world consciously, inviting you to really consider where you're creating from, because for most of us, we don't realize that we're actually creating from our pain bodies, from our ego programming a lot of the time. And actually really tuning into that highest self-consciousness is how we allow ourselves to embody peace on earth, to be the highest self-consciousness that others can emulate through example. This is exactly why moving out of martyrdom and narcissism is so important. And this Leo energy is inviting us to bring light to everything that maybe we've felt shame or guilt or judgment, or we've projected on in the past, because this is not the time anymore to point fingers without looking within, right? If you do that, you remind yourself that look inwards and own that shadow in you. If you do, you're going to feel so much better, because compassion, forgiveness, discernment are all key elements of this energy. So I just want to tune in with you for a moment. Welcome those who are joining, because the energies are very volatile at the moment. Okay, we've got, I believe it is Aries. No, Venus has gone into Aries. So there's this interesting thing about sort of passion energy, which can end up being a fighty energy and arguing energy, you know, in the realm of our relationships, our relationship to ourselves, our relationship with our beloved, our relationship with the world. And the full moon is actually going to be on the 12th of February. So it's only a couple of days before Valentine's Day. But I'm hosting my full moon manifesting circle on the Sunday evening, 7:30 p.m., which is 1:30 or 3:30, I believe it is, in terms of the EST and the PST in the US. Now, what's this all about? Well, like I said, for those of us who are on a peace mission, for those of us who are here to be the frequency of the new earth, we're constantly having to adapt and see where we are not fully in alignment with what we say we want. We're here to lead by example. From my perspective, from what I share in the book, star seeds are here on a volunteer mission to bring peace to earth. They've already, their consciousness has already evolved. This is not a hierarchy thing. It's just their soul's journey. The level of their soul journey, our soul journey, has got to the point that we have already been able to activate and feel the frequency of peace in our own field. So we're coming here to seed it by remembering it. So anything that you are currently challenged by, you are already a master of. In the non-physical world, in the soul consciousness, you are already a master of everything that's a challenge for you right now. So whether it is conflict in relationships, whether it is your relationship to resource, to money, to visibility, to anything, all right, you've already overcome it. So when I say highly evolved souls, please don't take that as a, oh, we're better than you, whatever that means, right? This is just where you are on the journey of your soul's evolution. And all of us are going home. All of us are reuniting with the oneness. And we're here to do it in this lifetime, here on earth. Our ascension is about bringing the divine to the physical, the eternal to the temporal. That's what sacred union is, right? So we get to, in this lifetime, and we're all master teachers, we've been here many times, we've been through a lot of different hardships to bring this message forward. It's never ended well for us in previous lifetimes, so we all have some reticence and fear of persecution, which is why these toxic inner relationships kind of play out. Their sabotage, their procrastination, because we're kind of delaying the mission that we're here to do because we're scared. Because once upon a time, we were here before and it never ended well. Now, please remember that, because this time we're asked to trust implicitly that this is the time that we've been calling forward. This is the time. It is the age of Aquarius. This is the time, hey, Lisa, that is us being able to receive the experience that we've come to experience all these other times, which is to be in our highest self-consciousness whilst embodied in physical form, and to see that energy spread across this planet like wildfire. Now, there is a mission. My mission is to co-create peace in one generation and to activate those who are here to co-create that with me. So if you've heard about the 144,000, I write in my book that it's actually the 144,400, right? There's something about, there's 200 couples, sacred union couples, so 400 souls in total, or 400 humans rather, because they're united soul, that have a very unique role to play, which is in the public eye, in the media, in entertainment, something about the sacred union that is bringing forward the codes of unification. And it's these 400 that I know I'm called to speak to on many levels, but every one of you, right? Every one of us is an influencer, right? Every one of us is influencing others just through our own frequency. I specifically work with the few that work with the many, that influence the many. That's part of my role, but I also am here to spread this consciousness across the planet on a grassroots level. So, if you're not sure what your soul mission is, don't worry, it will come. But part of it coming is you being able to give your solar plexus an upgrade, okay? To allow your wounded inner child to evolve to the divine child aspect of your consciousness. And that's what this Leo full moon is all about. Can you imagine that, if your mum and your dad, whoever conceived you, brought you into this world, whoever nurtured you to, the age that you left home, might be a variety of people. Just imagine that you could take the best of them, leave the rest, that somehow they evolved beyond their wounding in this lifetime. And that's the version of them that is in here, yeah, your divine mother, divine father energy, okay? And your divine child energy is in the solar plexus. This is the triad, the heart and the triad of the solar plexus. And when we create from the divine child, we know that anything we want already exists. We just need to line up with it, okay? And we know what gets in the way of it is everything that's kept us trapped in the fear matrix, the illusion of separation and the illusion of being in a fear-based paradigm, which it's a very compelling illusion, right? So many people I'm seeing in the world today, hello, everybody's joining, are like caught up with whether Trump's a goodie or a baddie, or Elon's a goodie or a baddie, and, you know, can we trust them, can't we trust them? You can't trust anyone, darling. No one. Not unless you can really trust yourself. And if there is something inside of you that you don't feel you can trust, this is what we're being called to do, is to bring the light to where there is shadow, where there is unprocessed emotion. And I am only just at this point on my journey, having basically been on a journey since the age of 14, so it's a very long time, I'm now nearly 47. I'm only just touching a deep level of grief to do with my great-grandparents. And please don't think I haven't worked this stuff a lot. I have, but there's something that's now being uncovered, because it has to be uncovered in order for me to fulfill my star piece mission. All right. So let me just grab the book quickly and let's see what's here. And you can hear, like, you know, the rain is pouring. There's a big, big cleansing going on, right? So in here, we talk about sacred union. In here, we talk about the role of the divine mother and father, of our relationships, of the 144,400, all of it. It's all in here. So if you're like, what is she talking about? Get hold of your copy on Amazon. And if you do want to join me for the event on Sunday, if you go to rozyglow.com/events, that's where you will see the sign up link for Sunday, okay, 7:30 p.m. UK time. And if you're on YouTube, thank you for the subscribes, thanks for the follows, thanks for hitting the notification tabs as well, so you know when you're live. Right, let's talk a little bit about the energies. So we have Neptune. Oh, no, I think it's Uranus, actually. Let me just have a little look and remind myself. We have Mercury playing out. We have obviously the Leo full moon doing all sorts of fun things, and Uranus is bringing in the unexpected. So expect surprising shifts and awakenings. These moments may reveal what's no longer serving you, urging you to release old patterns and embrace fresh perspectives. So I'm going to give you an example related to love, because I feel like this will help many of you. Back in the day when I used to attract Mr. Unavailable, Mr. Not That Committed, Not That Into Me, and honestly, they've had many different forms externally, but they're basically the same energy, because that's what I was putting out. I had this belief deeply encoded in me that love hurts, that love leads to heartache, and love is longing, not having. Now, in order for me to actually receive the love where I feel fulfilled, I feel satisfied, I feel met, I feel seen, and I'm able to co-create with my beloved and go through the challenges of growing together, right, into our highest versions of ourselves at any given time, that had to shift so that love heals, it doesn't hurt, right? So wherever you have a block going on for you right now, remember it is about your sacred union with the divine. It is about your connection between your soul and your human. You have no idea how many times I hear people say they want something, but then their human comes in and gives them all the reasons not to take the step that they need to take in order to align more fully with what they want. That resistance is conscious mind resistance. It's also called survival programming, which is your ego programming. It's trying to keep you safe in what you know, and it will give you a million excuses and reasons, right? But when you know that, you learn how to catch yourself and move beyond it. So as we come into the energy and the invitation to actually see what's really behind the conflict inside of us, it is going to be that we don't want to be showing up the way others have shown up towards us. If we felt our mother was self-obsessed, if we felt our father was absent, if we felt on some level that, you know, our needs were never met, and this is going to play out in our energy field, and it's going to keep recreating a story until we decide to change it. So the invitation of this full moon in Leo is really to drop into, what is my current consciousness? Never mind what my old story was. How am I currently seeing the world? What is my current narrative around love and around anything you want? What is my self-love relationship? And there are a few more intentions and affirmations that we're going to be working with, okay? But the key ones that are really important are, I am safe to receive the love that I desire, right? This is one of them. And then there are a couple of more that I've actually shared as well. I am embodying the frequency of divine sacred union. I am surrendering my ancestors' stories of heartache and heartbreak and writing my own love story. Now, just let me know how that feels. How much do you soothe and comfort yourself? How much do you meet your own needs and not expect others to do this? I'm just going to give you 3 definitions so you can understand what I mean by martyr, narcissist, and covert narcissist, because at the moment, unhealthy relationships, relationships that you've outgrown, relationships that no longer serve you are coming to light. And we're all learning, Mercury's quite active in this full moon energy as well, to come from love in all that we say and do, right? Now, you don't really know what that means until you know what it doesn't mean. So when you're seeing yourself react and be unkind and unloving and show up in ways that you're not so proud of and keen on, that's where you get to see, oh, this was what was programmed into me. This is not how I want to show up. This is not my authentic truth. This is just what I learned. And one of the things I've talked to my dad quite a lot is about how I handle stress, because both my dad and me, we don't handle stress very well. We deal with it in different ways, but it's like, depending on your fight, flight, freeze response, your early life programming, and you know, the kind of experience you had at birth, immediately postpartum, and also your time in the womb, this is going to be what you're aware of as your trigger happy response. And it's why I do the work that I do in the pre-birth stuff, because yes, you can change it over time. You just have to know where you're sensitive and manage that and work with that, right? But when you know the core beliefs that get triggered every time you're about to take a quantum leap, and you work with those pre-birth influences, those pre-birth, birth, and immediate postpartum beliefs, you can give yourself the soothing medicine you require anytime you're vexed. And it is about coming back to yourself and just reminding yourself of the truth. I am safe. I am worthy of what I desire. It is safe for me to grow beyond what I know. None of these things are wired into us as truth. All right. So there's going to be quite a lot of subconscious resistance to meet, to bring to light, to love up. And when we do our full moon co-creation circles, it is to work with specific resistance on a specific theme. The theme presently is the one that I'm sharing with you. So the main thing with all of this is that you appreciate that when you are ready to deal with something, it will show up. When you're not ready to deal with it, it won't show up. So if there's something that just feels like it's blocking you, glass ceiling, whatever it is that you just can't quite grasp that thing that you desire, this is okay. All right, this is telling you what you are ready now to see. This is like, what's behind this? How can I overcome this? What is important for me to release and evolve and upgrade within me so that this glass ceiling moves away, this ice wall melts away, and I can allow myself to have what I don't already have and know. And I say this because when you know what makes you feel safe, you can then work with what doesn't make you feel safe and develop programs to help you to create safety in the unknown, because that's where all of us freak out. It's not having the safety of the unknown. We don't know what happens in these places that we want to go to, and yet we want to go somewhere other than where we know, and it's just not happening. So let me just speak to these 3 things that I mentioned, and then we're going to look at what we're actually going to be doing on Sunday. So if I give you 3 definitions, now I don't really like labels. I don't really get into them too much. I appreciate that people find them helpful. When you're looking through a certain lens, you will see evidence of it. All right. So I don't spend loads of time in the world of narcissism or covert narcissism or martyrdom. But when I see an issue come up with someone in my life, and it feels really odd and it feels like a repetitive cycle, I'll always take a step back and a step up and go, what is going on here? What is the wound that's playing out? Is this a mother-child wound, father-child wound? Is this something to do, with what I remember as early relationship patternings? Because some relationships are karmic, and those are the ones that are coming to an end now. When you're ready, you release those cycles, and it is a necessary ending that will lead to a positive new beginning. So if you bring in the energies of Uranus, and you bring in the energies of Mercury, and you bring in the energies of the Leo full moon, it will all make beautiful sense. Okay, so maybe navel gazing, gazing up your backside, Becoming aware of your root chakra stories, what makes you contracted and really tight and not able to relax and surrender and open up, is really key. All right. So let's look at a narcissist is someone with a personality disorder. That's a mental health condition that means they need an excessive need for admiration, a lack of empathy for others, a belief that they're unique and deserving of special treatment, entitlement, a sense of entitlement, a fixation on fantasies of success or power, a belief that they're special or superior, exploitative behavior in relationships, envy, or a belief that others are envious of them. Now, this is the label, right? But the thing is, whenever you trailblaze, and this is the Leo energy, that's why it's so important, whenever you lead in a new space, you're going to have all the doubts come up, all the things come up. Am I a megalomaniac? Why do I think I'm so special that I can put this out in the world? Like, if you're a trailblazer, you're an innovator, you're here to seed something new, you're going to have so much self-doubt and fear to move through, right? If you're in a healthy state. And I say that because self-doubt has its place, right? Being able to question things is important. If you're just in a total state of denial and illusion and like you feel like you're God's gift and that's it, that's where we're looking maybe more down this narcissism path, right? But the grandiose sense of self-importance, the excessive need for admiration, the lack of empathy for others, the belief that somehow you should have special treatment and there's no one else like you. Is this really in itself a bad thing? I mean, aren't children all egocentric and in some way this relates? A fixation of fantasies, successful pay, all of this stuff, right? Basically, you got to love it. This Leo full moon is inviting us to love it, to bring love and light to any parts of us that show up that way. I know as I started to write this book, honestly, I was literally talking to my coach about it yesterday, and I was like, who am I to do this? Surely someone else has thought of this. It's so obvious to me. Why can't anyone else see it? And if I didn't have the sense of, actually, this is mine to do and it's really important, and if I don't do it, no one else is going to, so it is on me, I'd never have done it, right? Because you have to go through a lot of your own self-resistance to be able to create something. So when you say you want to do something new in your life, please don't expect all the doors to suddenly open. It's just going to be easy peasy lemon squeezy like Moses parting the seas. It doesn't work like that. You will firstly discover everything that's in the way of what you actually say you want. And this is where most people give up. So this Leo full moon is giving us the opportunity to shine light on every part of us that we feel somehow is wrong or bad, or we suppress because we fear if someone else saw it, they'd think it was wrong or bad, right? If anyone has any questions, let me know, by the way, as I'm going. So covert narcissism slightly differently. This is projection, okay? This is like blaming others for their behavior, having superficial relationships, having difficulty fitting in, going above and beyond in everything, manipulative for personal gain, grandiose fantasies, avoiding social situations. That's interesting. But there's generally this sense of sensitivity to criticism, passive aggressive behavior, grandiose fantasies, holding grudges, resists change. I mean, isn't this all of us? This is what I mean. We all have an inner narcissist and covert narcissist, right? On some level, right? Inflated sense of self. I'm not going to go too far with that, but all of that comes back to feeling inadequate on some level, so having to overcompensate. And then what does it mean to be a martyr? Someone who suffers for others. Okay, now there's the original sense here. A martyr is someone who suffers persecution and death for advocating, renouncing, or refusing to renounce or advocate a religious belief or other cause as demanded by an external party. In colloquial usage, the term can also refer to any person who suffers a significant consequence in protest or support of a cause. Or you constantly keep self-sacrificing, right? Because good people self-sacrifice. It ain't going to wash. We can't do that. We're living in a world where we have literally been programmed by very toxic leaders and the media. And this is not blaming them, just saying this is where it is because it's an externalization of our inner conflict. To basically emulate behaviors that are really dysfunctional and unhealthy. You know, if you've been parented in a way where you've been shown toxic love programs and toxic ways, and by toxic I mean unhealthy, unhelpful, unloving ways of connecting to others, then that's going to be in your programming. That's what you are either going to do, or you're going to do the complete opposite of it. And as a result of that, neither of those extremes are actually your divine human self, your highest self-consciousness. They're both programs. One is compliance, the other is rebellion. And this is what we're living in, a world of compliance and rebellion. This is duality consciousness. If we want to come into unity, into oneness, rebellion and compliance have to come into the center and say, what's for the highest good of all? What is the win-win-win here? I surrender attachment to my desires, to outcomes. I claim what I really, really want. And this is Leo. I want this. And I believe I can have it. I am worthy. I trust. Like when a Leo is fully confident, it's the confidence of energy that transmits out that others love. When I first started doing my coaching, I was asking people, what is it that they get from me? They're like confidence. They get the confidence to pursue that thing that they really want to pursue, but they've been too scared to pursue. They get the confidence to step forward into the unknown. They get the confidence to start a relationship or end a relationship or have a child, get over their fear of giving birth, whatever it was, right? Or is. So we're all here to do this inner work. And that's why the full moons are such a powerful time for us to do deep clearing, both for ourselves and the collective. In my opinion, you get a smidging, tiny little taste of what is possible if you work with me and my team in terms of our group coaching work. And also if you wanted to work with me one-to-one. There are three distinct areas that I see every one of us who is here to lead as a way shower in the New Earth paradigm are really, really key players in terms of us being able to actually create the changes we want in one generation. One is we own our pre-birth trauma, right? Pre-birth, birth, and immediate postpartum trauma and the beliefs that limit us from that time. Two, we really get clear on how our current consciousness and our conscious mind is in the way of what we say we want, how we are thwarting the very things that we say we want because of the way we see the world, what we talk about, what we focus on, how we show up, what we energize. And then the third element is the subconscious clearing of all of the cultural, religious, societal, socioeconomic, gender war programming, you name it. Cultural programming that we've had that keeps us divided and separate and in judgment of one and the other. Now, I can't answer every freaking question here. I can just tell you that I know as we do this inner work, which is clearing up your own garden, your own office, your own backyard, your own home, and you leave everyone else to do that for themselves, you are taking responsibility for what is yours to take. And you are then modeling the very same thing for others. What many of us do is we get so concerned with what others are doing and where they are and trying to clean up their back gardens without taking care of our own business first. And that's where you are coming from an empty cup. Okay, that is where you're coming from a place that is not sustainable. So in order for us to make the most of these energies and to get the self-love upgrade that will allow us to improve our relationships with others, one, the relationship with the divine, whatever we conceive that to be, two, our soul consciousness, three, our beloved, if we have one, or to attract the kind of love that we really, really want, our children, our parents, our siblings, our colleagues, our clients, our bosses, our those who work for us, right? On all levels, it's going to come down to how you meet yourself. So the invitation is actually a solar plexus upgrade. I'm going to be working with you during this full moon for us to really embed the I am statements, the frequency codes of being in the frequency of receiving the love we want, feeling safe to have it, to experience it, the self-love, the total unconditional love of self that will then allow us to be able to have this kind of love with another. Because I think people get to happily ever after, and then it's like, what happens after that? Well, we're 7 years in, me and my beloved, and it's like, I thought about it, it's like, oh, it's a 7-year itch, isn't it? I hadn't thought about it. But it's like, since we got together and we got married 5 years ago, it's been one journey after another of growing in ourselves and then growing together. Whatever we've mastered on our own, it's then coming together and mastering it together and learning how to deal with moments when we're out of harmony. How do we separate out, reconnect with ourselves, and then come back into unity through that intention? And I feel this is really the crux of sacred union for anyone and everyone. This is my wish for you, is that you're with someone who wants to deal with the conflict, who wants to find resolution. In this very cool book, we talk about the three-pronged formula for peace, right? This is literally evidence-based, how we can create peace in one generation. And if you haven't yet looked up why soldiers are not to march over bridges, look it up, okay? There's this thing called resonance, and I am onto something big time. I know I am. It's then just getting it in front of the right people so that everyone can see it. And then it's like, right, let's do this. We've got the power to do this. Do we have to accept that there are many who have not wanted us to have the power of our own autonomy and empowerment and sovereignty? Of course, but they're not really outside of us. If you look at it from a perspective of it's all coming from you, you're not well, we're all the universe, we're all the ego programming, we're all that is, we're everything. That's the claim. But that doesn't mean everything's our fault, right? From a child's point of view, children are very egocentric. So baby in the womb, a child under the age of 7, even as a teenager, we feel that everything's our fault. We're to blame. Anything that's going on in the world. And this is what we're learning to evolve with this full moon in Leo, is to let go of the blame game, to let go of being judgy, of criticizing, of being in projection, in guilt or in blame all the time, because all of this is divisive. All of this is meaning that we're operating from a platform of fear rather than love. So love is a new earth paradigm foundation. Love is what seeds of the new earth are required to grow in. And the way that that happens is love creates safety. So the acceptance that we are all that is, that what's outside is a reflection of what is inside, doesn't mean that we're bad and terrible, we must be shamed and blamed and all the rest of it. It means that we get to be consumed or focused on how we can create inner harmony. And when we create that inner harmony, that is then when we will start to see more of it in the world. Because as you change your perception of yourself, you change your perception of the world, right? It changes how you see the world, how you see yourself changes that. So if every one of us did that, what do you think would happen, right? This three-prong formula for peace, my friends, is about the pre-birth stuff. It's about also how we gather together with others of like mind. And it's also about how movement, intention, vibration in terms of sound, and also light, all of our senses in a unified flow, what that actually does for us to impact the field around us. It is super exciting. Okay, so hello Sarah, nice to see you. If this is something you want to participate in, I'm excited to invite you into a couple of things here. First of all, Sunday, we're going to have the full moon manifesting circle. This is the last one we're going to do before we invite you into a monthly membership. We have a monthly Star Peace membership, which will be £14.44 a month. And if you want to subscribe to the monthly membership, you will be able to then join us for every full moon live and catch the replay. You're also going to have a masterclass a month delivered to you. All right. And we're going to have the opportunity to do some really powerful co-creating together. This is what it's all about. There's other goodies too, because there's some bundles that we're going to be sharing with you to support you to get going, right? So that you can align with thriving rather than surviving. And this is like my invitation to anyone who's bought the book. This is your next step. If you then want to join us with the yoga is £48 a month. So it's $55 a month. You get to have the membership, the Star Peace membership, as part of that. This is all coming next month, March, okay? And you know, the ultimate thing is anyone who is local to me. So if you're in England and you want to come and join me for an in-person event, I'm going to be sharing the first ever three-prong formula for peace embodied workshop, which will be a cacao ceremony. It will also be a narrative rewrite. It's at the end of the planetary parade, which is the 23rd of this month, okay, just before Mars goes direct. So we're really getting ourselves in alignment with the changes we're saying we want. Going to be embryonic yoga to clear all that pre-birth stuff and early life stuff. And then we're going to be dancing the peace codes into the sovereignty grid, the crystalline grid, the divine human heart grid, and the divine mind grid. I'm so excited for this. Lorna James is our phenomenal, exceptional composer who's created some absolutely phenomenal dance tracks that really high vibe, and my husband is going to be weaving it all into a really cool playlist, and I'll be guiding you through it all, because this is not ecstatic dance like you've seen it. I'm going to call it in some parts cosmic line dancing, okay? But ultimately, this is your invite. So if you want to come along, it's already up on the events page. There's an early bird, which is I think till mid next week. So check it out. And if you want to bring a friend, we've got a special rate for that as well. So just make sure that you book in early. I've only got 18 spaces, all right? And that's how we're going to do it. So beyond that, as it is Valentine's Day coming up, and Sacred Union is the one thing that I see consistently as the ultimate result that my clients get, is they either have the courage to leave the relationships they need to, or they see that the relationship they're in is actually everything they could ever want, and as they've up leveled, so does their partner, right? They find the diamond in the rough and they energize it, get pregnant, we get into the self-love journey, start to increase wealth. You know, what is it that you actually want? We've had 10xing going on, we've had beyond 10xing going on. It's really up to you to recognize what is available to you when you put your soul in control. And that's what I do. I teach people to live as their highest selves. And, you know, it's no mean task. It's a challenge. I live it. And it's not about the fact that you fall from, you know, the grace that you're aligning with. It's how quickly you get back into it. All right. So if you would like to explore the option of some one-to-one coaching or group coaching with me, I'm going to invite you into a Sacred Union call. This is for those of you who are serious about taking the next step. So, you know, in terms of our coaching products, we're talking about 4 or 5 figures plus. We're talking longer term. You know, I do a month intensive, but mainly we're talking 6 months to 12 months. There's some fast tracking 4-month options, but I want you just to remember what I said about the pre-birth stuff, the conscious mind alignment stuff, and then the subconscious clearing. And this alignment on a multi-dimensional level is key. I do all that foundation work. That's my offering, and that's what my coaches do. So I will give you a free Sacred Union call if you want one. Contact me. So make sure you follow me. Make sure that, you know, we're in a position we can direct message each other. Drop me a message and I'll send you the code for the free call. Otherwise, you can go through the website, RozyGlow.com. And you'll see there you can book a Sacred Union call. I think it's halfway down the page, and there's a small fee of £14.44. So if you want to do that, go ahead. But right now, I am sending the energetic impulse out to those of you who are ready to work with me, to invite you to notice the resistance you have and to step forward anyway, because the changes that you want are on the other side of your comfort zone. And usually it's time and money and all the stuff that we say we can't do it. But actually, when you really challenge that, you'll see where your priorities are not lined up with what you say you want. And I've been given the message from the Star Peace Collective that when you say yes, the money will appear, the opportunity will show itself as to the how. You just have to say yes first and trust, because this is what co-creating the New Earth paradigm is all about. You get the bigger picture. Hello, Laura Jane. You get the full picture, and then you get the next step, and that's all that we get. Okay. So having the courage to work with that is really important. I'm just checking I've said everything that is important. Yeah, that's all there. So inner masculine, inner feminine upgrade, for sure, for sure. And then there's one more thing here, which is, let's just have a look. Post I did a little earlier today, which doesn't seem to be showing on my, oh yes it does, it's here. So let me just find it for you. There's some key things that when we actually line up with them, when we speak to them and we allow ourselves to ask for what we really, really want, it shows up. Okay. And yeah, for some reason, these bits are not actually showing, which is really weird. Anyway, we're going to trust and let go and love. And for now, I'm going to just ask you to really tune in. How is your relationship with yourself? Is there anything that you are avoiding feeling? And are you willing to bring that with you on Sunday for us to work with it? If you are, then I'll be very, very excited to see you in our new frequency, in our new reality, because everything we do, we are doing to co-create peace on earth. Everything that we do, we are doing to allow us to actually have the experiences that we are calling in. So creating safety for our inner child is key. Loving up the shadow elements of our inner masculine and feminine, showing up as martyrdom and covert and overt narcissism even, and collapsing judgment into neutrality through forgiveness, compassion, discernment is what we're going to be working with. And through doing that and having a sense of how we want to feel in relationship, we will be doing the clearing work for the next level of our connection to a sacred union. It's not about it being a bed of roses, my friends. It's not about never having challenges to deal with. It's about how you deal with them and having the tools to deal with them. The way that I work with people is the tools that I give are designed to work in every area of our lives. So once you actually understand how the star maps work, which is what I work from, and they're all in the book, then you'll be able to apply them to anything that's going on for you. And you know, it's recognizing when you're not where you want to be that allows you to get where you want to. Okay, so I'm going to leave that there. And again, I'm just going to remind everyone that The bulk of what I'm talking about is all accessible at rozyglow.com/events. You can sign up to the full moon meditation. You can also sign up to the yoga. You can also sign up to the what else is there? The event in Bosom on the 23rd. So it's South Coast, Bosom, well worth going. Amazing space. Loads of ley lines converge. Very, very magical grounds that we're going to be at, which is why I've chosen that place. And if you wanted to know more about the coaching, again, you can look at rozyglow.com. There's a whole coaching page, but you can just look on the homepage and you'll see where you can book a Sacred Union call. And as I said, if you want to message me directly, I will send you a code so you can have that call for free if you're serious about wanting to take your next step and do some work with me. And yeah, there are one-offs as well. There's one-off sessions in terms of calls that I do to give you a taste of what's possible. So you can check out the Divine Navigation call and the Divine Matrix Activation call. They're slightly different. They're very, very powerful in what they do and how we work together, and they give you a sense of all that's happening. And if you're ready to do your pre-birth work, that's the next thing for me. I've got space for one this month, so let me know and we'll go from there. For now, so much love, beautiful ones. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your support. Please ask me any questions, anything that's come up for you here, put it in the comments and I'll be glad to respond to it. And I'll put all the details in the text box for you. Ta-ra for now.